When talking about what the best free game available today is, you most likely have heard your standard choices like Fortnite, Destiny, CSGO, League of Legends. When I'm talking about free games, there is one game that doesn't get enough attention, and it is a forgotten sea of content for all gamers to enjoy. Warframe. Warframe is one of my favorite games, no matter the highs or lows that came with it. I've been playing since 2019 and I have watched this game grow and expand through the years, even bigger than I originally thought possible. After many updates and add-ons that are completely free to everyone, I have concluded that this is one of the best live service games because the developers are not money hungry like other companies. The game has aged well with its very dedicated and extremely friendly community. No matter what comes from this game, I always enjoyed grinding, but as the game grew and I got deeper into the game, I noticed some problems that were lingering beneath the surface. Through the ocean of content this game provides and the thousands of hours you can put into it and still not 100% it, one thing stuck out to me that I can never unsee. But we'll get to that later. First, I want to talk about how much I love this game and give it the praise it deserves because the level of care the developers have for what they do with this game is shown in what they give you with each update. The game is free, and all the updates are free to those who have progressed the game to a certain point. And most of the time it's made to be new player friendly, and if you get to the point where it recommends you start your missions, you are more than prepared for what comes your way. The design of each level and planet, minus some reused maps, is some of the best sci-fi designs I've seen in gaming. Each world is unique and colorful in its own way and offers a new experience at every level depending on the mission. That's not all they did with designing. The character design in this game is unmatched. Each Warframe is customizable in thousands of different ways and comes in so many different styles or colors and helmets and capes and attachments that it almost never ends with the customization. I feel like I've spent more time designing my Warframes than actually playing the game. The customization for almost anything you own in this game is awesome, and it also has a big effect on the community as well. And this leads me into my second praise. Somehow, Warframe's developers took the most wholesome gamers they could find and shoved them into one game. The community is so welcoming to everyone and every single new player there is. I have not had a single bad interaction online with a squad or clan. They are willing to work with you, and some people even go into chat and offer to help other people with their tasks just because they feel like it. I'm one of those people. 6'5" by the way. The community is so willing to help new players get on their feet. They'll taxi you to new levels you haven't unlocked. They'll help you beat bosses, do your taxes. I have to commend Warframe for having the nicest community in gaming. Next up, the gameplay is just straight fire. The weapons and powers of each Warframe and machine and tool you can use is hot as hell. You want to be a tank that can solo steal path? Easy to achieve. You want to be a healer and help your squad mates from behind? If you want to. You want to open a black hole to the sun and purge the Grineer scum from the galaxy? That's doable too. The gameplay is amazing, and destroying hordes upon hordes of Grineer with the unmatched sound design and epic music in the background makes you feel unstoppable. The years of adding and creating new characters to match each person's playstyle is insane as well. I love each Warframe for a certain task, and they all serve their own roles perfectly balanced, as all things should be. If I had to choose my top 5 best Warframes, I would have to say from lowest to best: Nidus, Nova, Baruch, Saren, and Mag. If you're looking to get into Warframe, then I suggest you grab these guys as soon as possible. Anyways, enough of me geeking out. Combat in this game is some of the most satisfying combat in games in general. The movement mixed with your abilities and weapons and boosters and is just so fun to annihilate everything in your path. I wouldn't call this a hack and slash game because there's so much more to it that is regarding skill, stats, critical damage, abilities, enemy and damage types, and if I spent time talking about everything regarding action in this game, we'd be here all day. This game is like 15 games thrown into one game. It's an action RPG, a horde shooter, a stealth game, a parkour game, a slot machine. I'll get to that later. The story is also really good. I compare this lore with Destiny's lore, except this one is written in a way where you can follow it without looking up a guide online. Each year, there's a new chapter that's released, and it comes with a new game mode, character, planet, or feature to use during your average grind. I won't spoil the story because it's very intriguing once you start past the tutorial, and I have to say DE does a good job with the story and investing their time into this game for the player. I can finally invest time into a story without Minecraft parkour gameplay next to. But now that I've yapped about how much I love this game, it's time to talk about the pulp within the OJ. The thing that follows this game with every update and every addition to this game. It's a plague which has haunted every player who steps foot into this world, and it has existed since this game's beginning stages. The grind never ends. Oh, but you were just talking about how much you love this game. Yeah, and I still do, but I'm not blind to its flaw. The biggest flaw with this game is that it's too grindy. Every character, minus Rhino, is an absolute nightmare to get your hands on. Every gun, Warframe, melee weapon, Arcwing, companion, pet has its own grind that you have to do in order to get them. First, you have to get to the right location. Then, you have to grab the blueprint to find out what you need. Then, you have to grind out the parts you need for the weapon or Warframe. Then, you have to grind out the parts and craft them. Then, once you're done with the grind, you have to wait 12 to 72 hours for it to finish crafting. Then, once you crafted it, you have to upgrade it to its proper level so you can finally play with the weapon you got. That's just for one Warframe or weapon. Or you could get platinum and get it instantaneously. Do you see the problem here? You don't have to get platinum for anything, and everything in this game can be earned. But without platinum, you'll be grinding for a minimum of 2 hours per Warframe or weapon. Not everyone has that kind of time. I don't. You probably don't. This game never ends because there's so much to do. But what if instead of making there endless stuff to do with the grind, you remove part of the grind and let players have fun without needing platinum to save time? And you could say, oh, you could just trade for platinum. Yeah, you could, but that has a grind behind it as well, because you have to also get the parts to trade with other players that's worth all that platinum. It's perfectly designed to not be a pay-to-play, but just enough to be annoying and pesky, because the grind never ends, because guess what? There's a lot of stuff in this game. It's almost impossible to have a life and get to master rank 30 in this game. You have to pick one because you definitely can't have the other. There is no way you can get everything in this game, so this is where YouTube and the internet comes in hand, because you can just see what other players use for weapons, what builds they're running with, what's the best weapon you could have, or you could just decide for yourself what you want to work towards based on the information online. That's really the best thing to do when starting this game and trying to find your place within this world, because it's really complicated and there's a lot of stuff that you can't know what it does. You just have a vague description in the corner of what it does. So honestly, if you want to learn about how to work stuff in the game, I would recommend going on YouTube, finding out the top 10 weapons of the game, finding out the best Warframes and what roles they could be used for, and just figure out which one you want to do and work towards. And once you get it and you have your main character that you'll go to constantly, you'll be good from then on. I enjoy this game, but the grind just makes it so much less enjoyable sometimes. I have played on and off for years and will probably continue to do so, but I wish the developers didn't have to hide in-depth content behind this grind that plagues all players and forces some to step back from the game simply due to not having enough time. It's sad because there is a genuinely good game behind the grind that some people will never experience because of the mountain that is terrifying to start climbing. But my God, when you get to the top of that peak and look at all of your collection and things that you've grinded out, all your hard work, the skill level you're at now, the weapons you have now versus when you started, you feel the best feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment that you can. From my experience, the game ends when you get to Seal Path, and you have the challenge to start all over again with much stronger enemies, all your weapons and gear, and it serves as a new game plus type of mode. This is my personal opinion though. This game has flaws that are huge and gaping flaws, but regardless, I still enjoy the game. It's got some great lore, the gameplay and combat is almost perfection. The sound design and story is awesome and epic and big in scale, and as long as you're willing to get into the game and stick through the grind, it can be very fun. Just know there are flaws in this game, as in any game, and you will have to work through them if you want to have fun, but you will have fun, because under all the grind is a gem that I keep coming back to throughout the years. Stay through the grind, trade for platinum, and enjoy the game for as long as you want. Also, one more thing. When you start the game, please don't choose Excalibur, because Mag is the best choice.